3, 2, 1.
Hi folks, it's John Nizman from lastchanceautorestore.com, and today's tip, I'd like to share with you how to put hubcap clips on older 5-spoke or 5-lug Volkswagen wheels. So basically I'd like to show you, first of all, if you come to this wheel here, this is the newer style Volkswagen wheel where you see the 4-bolt pattern. All of the 4-bolt pattern Volkswagen wheels have indentations built in the wheel, as you can see here, so it receives a hubcap. So when you pop on the original hubcap, these little nubs will hold the cap on. Now if we go to the next wheel over here, these are wheels that we've reconditioned for one of our restorations, and you'll see the 5-bolt style, and it has these new clips with these new rivets that we've already installed. So then if we pan to this other wheel, here is a wheel, the first step to put the clips and pins in, or rivets, sorry. They basically look like this, and we turn them into this. So most people, what they'll do when they replace these rivets and pins is they will take a rivet and a pin like this, and they will have their friend hold it, and they'll have a piece of pipe on a vise. They'll set this in the vise. There's a tool you can buy that will hold it, and then the friend holds the wheel, and then you use like over here, they use a chisel and a hammer with another hammer on top. So what they'll do is they'll basically set it in place. His friend will hold the rim, and then guys will go like this and then keep pounding on the rivet until they get it to mushroom over that will hold that clip on. So that when the clip is on, it's locked in place, and then when you go to pop the hubcap on, it locks obviously all the way around. We've come up with a different way. First of all, we don't like to have the steel wheels with the clips and rivets on and then paint them, because with this special almond paint that we've painted these wheels with, you would have that almond overspray all over on the inside. You also wouldn't be able to treat in these rims, you wouldn't be able to sand them properly because of the clips being in the way. So this is how we prefer to do it. We sandblasted the wheels, we used high build primer and sanded at different grits until we got to 400 grit, which is our final. And then this is a single stage premium paint, and it's a correct Volkswagen color. So this is how we like to do them, and then once we do the rivet and clip, then it looks like a brand new, as it should be correct from the factory. And then obviously once this is bolted on to the chassis, we'll pop the hubcap on and everything looks authentic and proper. So what we did is we made ourselves a holding station or a jig so that we can install these pins, or sorry, the rivet with the clip. So we had an old damaged Smoothie Volkswagen wheel. Smoothie meaning it doesn't have the vents cut in the side of the steel like these ones. And then you can see it's the normal 5-lug pattern. And then we have the holes for the rivet. So it's basically, this is an old wheel of one of these. So what we did is we took, if you see on the table over here, we have, all we did is we took some authentic Volkswagen lugs, and then we have just scrap tubing from our scrap bin. So what I did, as you can see here, is we took one of these lugs, we slid it into the tubing, we cut them all off at the correct height, we then welded this tube and this lug onto the rim, and then the lug onto the tubing. We measured all three so we have the proper height, and then we took a piece of solid steel, we drilled a little hole in the top so that it will receive the shoulder or the rounded part. I don't know if you can catch that on the camera, but you can actually, that half moon will rest or sit on that hole. Okay, so this is really important. And then what we did, for simplicity, we needed a base, and we also needed to know where all the holes lined up. And that's why we used one of these old wheels. So you can see here we're ready for the clip. And like I say, this is what we used to make this wheel. I'll just set this out of the way. And then you'll see with clips what happens if you are wondering why do you have to replace these, is we look close on this wheel and you can see these metal clips here. So this one is broken off, and it's very, very common on the old style Volkswagen wheels, just with the amount of pressure, and it rusts and they break off. So then these rivets are probably original from early 60s. So what we do is we just use a cutting wheel, we go to the back of the wheel and we grind off the end of that, and then use a center punch and drive that old rivet out, and then we sandblast the wheels. So this is very common. These clips like that, they will just break off. So any time that we're restoring a Volkswagen, we will always remove these clips and rivets, and we will prepare all the wheels like this, and then we'll buy the package of clips. Now there's 2 or 3 different manufacturers that make the clips. These are the best ones because they're made in Germany. We get them from one of our Volkswagen suppliers. Each package does 1 wheel. So you get 5 of these rivets and 5 of these clips. And obviously there's 5 per wheel. So we've already bought the pack, or we have the kit. So the next thing I'd like to do is share with you how we go ahead and we will install these clips and rivets on a perfectly finished wheel. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take one of the clips, one of the new clips and one of the new rivets. We set the rivet into the clip, and you can see here this is the way it would be on the wheel. So all we're doing is simply just turning it upside down, and then we're going to set that on the holder. Okay, so now we take the wheel, and all I'm going to do is line up the 3 holes where the lug nuts go, and then you'll see here through this hole that there is the clip on the back side, which I'll show you in a minute. So the clip is on the back, the rivet is through here. Now it's the reason why we made this jig, number 1, is we have a finished wheel, so we don't want to damage the wheel, put dents or too many scratches on the actual wheel itself with the fresh paint. So if you were to do it with a friend on a vise, there is no way that you're going to do this kind of work and install those rivets without damaging the rim, unless you don't mind the overspray on the clips and on the rivets. So basically all we need to do is tighten these 2 lugs down, and we've already got the rivet and clip in place. Now most people would just want to take a little drive like this and a hammer and just keep hammering it to peen it over. There's a better, more efficient way. So if you're doing it yourself or at home and you don't have an air tool or an air hammer with a pin on the end, this is what we like to use. You can do it this way, where you can just simply use a heavy hammer and then pound it so that the rivet mushrooms over. So what we're going to do, this is how we do them here at Last Chance Auto Store, except it's a little bit loud, so I apologize for a little bit of noise here, but I'm going to put my headphones on, and then what we have is this air tool, and it has the end on it. So all we're going to do, because we have support on the bottom side, the clip is in place in the jig, I'm simply going to set this up and then hit the air hammer, and it's going to mushroom this clip or this rivet into place. Okay, so I'll just set it up here. You can see it's already starting to mushroom. That's 2 or 3 little shots. It's already starting to mushroom over. So now I'm going to do it just a little bit more. Okay, one more little shot here. Okay, so you can see we now have the rivet mushroomed over, so it's flat here. This is important because a lot of people would think, well, why can't I just use a small nut and bolt and bolt the rivet on and not go through this? It's very important for clearance. This wheel rests right directly up against the brake drum, and there's very little tolerance or room here, so you have to have it done this way. So now that we've done the first rivet, I'm just going to take my trusty little ratchet here. I'm just going to loosen up. You don't have to put them on very tight. It's basically just to hold the wheel in place and to position the rivet and the clip so nothing moves. So now we just lift this up, and we can show you here that there's the first clip. So you can see we got the new rivet, we've got the new clip. It's extremely tight, and it looks like it's factory. So the next thing we do, I won't show you all 5 because it'll be boring, but we'll just do it one more time. So we have the rivet and the clip, and you can see once again we're basically just turning it upside down, so you're just flipping it over like this. We set that into place, and basically when we do these, I just basically go in a normal rotation. So once again I'm just setting up the 3 lugs first. I position the clip in the back underneath, and the rivet is through here. So then I just take a couple of these basic lug nuts. So I'll spin these back on. Now this jig took us probably a couple of hours to make, and some people say, well, that's kind of silly because it took you 2 hours to make the jig. But every one of the Volkswagens that we restore, you're putting 5 clips on, and we also restore the spare tire. So you're doing 25 rivets for every car. So doing it this way, it saves a lot of time, and there's no need to have a second person helping you, and you're getting a nice factory looking finish. So we'll just do this one more time. We'll grab the air tool. So once again, we have the first one done, so we're going to go to the second one, and I'm just going to line the tool up again. See it mushrooming now quite nicely. And there we go. So it's nice and flush. So once again, we just take the ratchet off. Now one thing you could do if you were considering making a jig like this is you could probably just use a piece of tubing with a little T-handle on it and just do it manually instead of having to use the ratchet. We like using it this way because the number of times we're going to use it's going to be very handy, and we have the shoulders that we want to keep down. So once again, when we flip this over, see now we have 2 of the clips done. Okay, so very straightforward, no damage to the wheel. It doesn't take 2 people or 3 people to hold in position and to wonder if you have the rivet in place. And then what you end up with is a wheel looking like this, and there's the other 2 that we've done. So that's basically a pretty handy tip, I think, because it gives you the factory look. It replaces all of the hubcap clips. It'll last for years and years, and I think that'll come in very handy. So thank you for watching. Once again, I'm John Nizman from lastchanceautorestore.com. I welcome you to visit our website anytime, and thanks for watching.